Hey everybody, Regina Roberti here with Life Transformation Solutions and Insomnia Solutions. Today I'm going to talk about melatonin and how it can have negative effects for people who are dealing with sleep conditions. So some things you know or maybe want to know about melatonin. So it's a naturally occurring hormone in the body that helps with regulation of the circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is your body clock that tells you when it's time to go to sleep and when it's time to awaken. So at nighttime, when the sun starts to go down, about 2 hours usually before you typically go to sleep, your body will naturally make melatonin to set you up to begin your sleep cycle when sleep comes to you. You can experience it when you start to get that drowsy, tired feeling. That's when you know that your melatonin production is starting to peak and it is helping to get you in a relaxed state before you close your eyes. So when we take melatonin as a supplement, it's a synthetic version of melatonin. So it's not the hormonal creation done by a person's body. And the problem that we see with synthetic supplements is that it's not entirely great for every single person. Some people respond really well to it and it works fine. It helps them fall asleep if they're struggling to create that melatonin before they go to bed and they just feel wired. But others have some adverse reactions to it, and it actually can create a lot of symptoms that many people don't know about. First thing you should know about melatonin is it is not a long-term supplement. So you won't use it unless you need it. And if you are using it, you won't use it for too long. The recommended length of time to take it is up to 2 years. And while that seems like a long time, there are a lot of people that have been dealing with insomnia and sleep conditions where they struggle to go to sleep for a long time and have been using that supplement alongside other medications, whether they are OTC, over the counter, or prescribed medications to help aid them in their trying to attain sleep. So a few typical side effects that people can have are headaches, nausea, dizziness, and sleepiness to the point where they are having trouble staying alert. While we know that sleepiness is the intention, it might be too much for some people. Because it is synthetic, it might actually interact in a negative way with other medications that certain people are prescribed for certain health conditions, like anti-seizure meds, immune suppressant meds, things like that. So if you're on any kind of diabetic medications or blood thinners or certain contraceptives even, melatonin might not be the best idea for you to use, and you might want to talk to your doctor about that. So what a lot of people don't know is that if you have sleep disorders like insomnia, restless leg syndrome, and even things like dementia, melatonin is probably one of those things that you should stay away from because it can have adverse reactions within the person taking the medication or the melatonin supplement. Melatonin can worsen these symptoms. It can create restlessness within your body and within your mind. It can create and exacerbate the restless leg syndrome. And a lot of people who take melatonin have reported that they have nightmares and night frights and other types of issues where they are in kind of like a sleep state, but they know that they're awake and they can't get out of it. On the dementia level, people who have dementia are already struggling with their cognitive abilities, and if they take melatonin, the drowsiness that melatonin can create during the day for certain people with dementia will also make that worse and can create issues as far as falling, accidents, things like that. You should never mix melatonin with any other drug, and you should not mix it with any kind of alcohol use or marijuana use. Children who are on the spectrum may be very sensitive to the side effects of melatonin. So that is something that you should consider before giving them to your kids. But when it comes to sleep, I know with my own children, there were some times where my kids, they don't like taking naps. They're still young, but they were under the weather. And I thought, let me just get something with like zinc and melatonin in it. And if I give it to them, maybe it'll help them sleep more deeply. But it actually created night fright scenarios with them. They would wake up sweating profusely, very irritable, upset and crying. And it was like, I probably gave it to them 3 times, and all 3 times that I gave it to them, I finally was like, maybe it is the melatonin that's causing this. So you have to be really careful when taking certain supplements and treating yourself for whatever you have or whatever you've been diagnosed with or whatever you believe you have but have no diagnosis for. So when it comes to insomnia, falling asleep and staying asleep, melatonin may not be the best option for you. Not only that, but long-term use of melatonin, your body is supposed to make it naturally, and the last thing you want to do is get your body reliant on some kind of synthetic ingredient that your body all of a sudden stops making the natural melatonin. So there are a lot of different tips and tricks that people can do before they go to sleep to naturally create the melatonin, and a lot of that has to do with sleep hygiene. So if you've never heard of that, look it up. But basically, you're going to reduce screen time, you're going to darken the room, you're going to meditate, you're going to watch what you eat before you go to bed, you're going to limit caffeine intake in the afternoons and throughout the day. And if you're highly sensitive to caffeine, you might want to eliminate it altogether, because that will help keep you awake at night even when you should be going to sleep. Reading books, relaxing in a space before you go to your bedroom are a lot of the tips out there for making sure that you're following a good night schedule before you go to sleep. So melatonin is not for everybody. Some people, just like with anything else, respond really well to certain supplements and medications, and others are highly sensitive to it. There is a level of detox that your body may need to go through or is going through, depending on what your lifestyle is like, that also causes these interactions and side effects and adverse reactions when you use melatonin. So if you are having trouble sleeping, you might want to look into other ways to help you get a good night's rest.